Multiple claps. Three, two, one, clap. All
Oh
right.
shit. Oh, we'll get that. We'll get that eventually.
Oh,
But
just
I'm,
say test the audio. What's up, Julian? Can you hear us?
what's up? I can hear y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
Look at
Yeah,
us
well,
Awesome.
figuring
I'm
this
on the
shit
road.
out.
Gotta be very
Season two.
right now.
All right, guys. Let
Season
me.
two, and we're on schedule. Well, so
Right.
like,
We even got
hell,
a guy on the road. This feels nice.
yeah, yeah. I don't like. I wish I could show you the setup I have now. I have like a bunch of books and papers stacked in front of me as a tripod with my
Yeah.
phone, and then like my keyboard canted to the side that I can't even use, like a big ass microphone in my face. And we're figuring it out though, guys. How y'all doing today?
Doing good, man. Still recovering from that run.
Yeah,
Um, I
uh,
think I got old.
sorry I missed out. How's the run?
It was
It
good.
was
I,
it
I
was
was a
cool.
little hungover from it, which is what you don't expect from a run. But I think, we treated ourselves to what is it, 2 beers afterwards?
We did
Uh,
round one, then we did round two in honor of Julian.
in honor of you, we did round two. Yeah, so that was good. But that's probably not the best thing to do after I think we ran maybe probably total a mile and a half, 2 miles, at a very easy pace. So Julian, basically what we did, we stretched a little bit. We got there. Well, first of all, we got first of all, I took this great picture of Ed because the start of the fitness club was Ed sitting on a bench because we walked the opposite directions of each other. So I think lesson one, coordination, like we'll figure that out.
He
But
pulled a Fight Club.
yeah,
What's the
yeah,
Fight
yeah.
Club quote?
Don't talk about it.
Yeah,
Oh,
But
we
run
got to
club.
talk
Don't
about
run.
it. That's an iconic picture. I feel like we got to make like that front page of the website or something.
it was a good picture. It was good. I didn't even think I was for a second I was like, are we at different parks? Like I was like, that would be something that we did. It's like, oh, you're at Memorial, I'm at fucking Herman, like some shit like that.
Yeah, no, we definitely need to spend some time talking about the logistics of a run club because yeah, a lot of stuff can get lost in translation, create a negative experience, which is something we want to avoid in the future if we start inviting people to this.
Yeah, yeah, but it was a good time. We did a little stretching, maybe 10 minutes. Did kind of like a walk run thing. We kind of used the poles as a gauge of like, okay, cool, we'll walk to this pole, run to that pole. We hit this nice little hill there, did like an individual effort up, down, and then kind of did like a brisker run back. So it was a good time. It was a good vibe out there, a lot of good people. Weather was great. So and then also there's a nice bar in the area. So I think logistically speaking, for like getting a group of people together could be a lot of fun. You go, you got to get a good workout for, 45 minutes an hour, and you go and you have some beers afterwards, something like that. Be fun.
And I like the pole to pole running, kind of scaffolding was a
Mhm.
nice touch because it allowed like I thought I was gonna go in there and like we were just gonna jog 3 miles, like we're gonna do the loop because it was our first time ever being there. I thought we were gonna like have that battery, but
Yeah.
once we started walking a little bit, I was like, man, this shit's huge. Like I don't know if
Oh,
I'm
dude.
just gonna raw
So
dog three
before they did the
miles.
renovations, it was about 3 miles from start to start. Now I think it's a little bit closer to four, I want to say. But also in Memorial, there's like hidden trails in that you can take different cuts and like go around and stuff. So it's a really like make your own thing. And it's kind of beautiful. We didn't go all the way to that side. I think where we stopped, if you keep going, that's where you start kind of getting the inside of Memorial Park. But it's really beautiful what they've done with the place. Like the traffic has been horrible, construction and stuff, but it's really nice now.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like y'all really made the most out of it. Yeah, I haven't seen the memorial since the new construction, so I'd love to check it out.
Yeah, I haven't been in a very long time, so whatever the new stuff is, I mean, just like I remember it, I guess, because I haven't been there a long time. Well, officially, welcome to season two. Before we begin, a moment of silence. Julian, stay on mute. Last season, we did a lot with OVP. It was our first startup with C-Task, a personal project manager. We learned a lot of things. We learned about how to work as a team, has busy adults, and we learned,
Yeah.
well, we didn't learn, but we tried our best to try to not get cut off by Zoom at the end because I think there's a time limit when we're recording.
45 minutes.
Uh, 45 minutes. So let's see. Are we getting cut off this season or are we
Oh
wrapping
yeah, for
up?
sure. I mean, I think
All
every
right,
season we need to get cut
that's
off,
the
you know?
trademark.
It's
Trademark.
like, did you ever watch like Showtime at the Apollo when like they would come up with the broom and shit?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Guys, sweep them
I,
off. Get them out. Get them out of here.
yeah, I feel like that's like our like guy with the broom, like, all right, bro, you done.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna keep that. That's fine. That's one of the little trinkets of our show. That's how you know you're listening to the OVP. But speaking of the OVP, today is the last day. The moment of silence was because the OVP is no more. Today we're officially launching Building with the Boys.
Let's
We got
go.
Roger, we got Julian. Those are the boys for this season.
And Ed.
Myself, yeah, there you go. It's the podcast where each season we go from a big idea to boots on the ground, and then at the end we pitch to secure investments from some local sharks. Maybe this year some not so local sharks. We'll see where it takes us. And then, of course, we bring the audience along the way, showing them all the behind the scenes and giving you access to all of our notes, all of our research, all the progress. So, new name, same great podcast taste. You excited for season two, Roger?
Yeah, yeah, I'm really excited. I think like, Julian, cool guy, really, really excited to work with him a little bit more. You saw him a little bit. You got a sneak peek of Julian last season at the end. Just as great in person. Last week we were, we met up at a cool little coffee shop, had some beers, died in Oregon Trail a couple times. Oh, we won the first one, then we all died the second one.
Yeah,
It was like
beginners, and then
boom,
negatives.
headshot. You're all dead. But a lot of fun. And I think that, as we were, a couple beers in, talking about like what the show could be. And that's kind of how I love how names come about is you're just talking about what you want to do. And then we were like, oh, business with the boys. Like, because it was just, a bunch of dudes hanging around having a good time. And I think that's kind of what we want to kind of emulate, for the listeners as well. Like we're just hanging out, trying to build some cool shit together, all of us, not just us three, but like as a community. So I think that I love when names kind of organically came together, and that was kind of like an exciting part of it, that I think was a lot of fun. So really excited for this season for sure, and having Julian on and you as well.
Yeah, this my pitch to Julian was like, hey, middle-aged guys or back in the day teenagers, their whole thing was like get in the garage and make a band. This is our garage band. This is what we
Yeah.
do on the side. It could be something, could be nothing, but it's gonna be fun either way.
Oh, for sure. Already having fun. That's what it's about too.
And then officially, Julian, welcome to the show, and tell the folks a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. Excited to be on. Yeah, like Roger said, I kind of joined very much at the end last time, so excited to be here for the full journey from the start. So really looking forward to it. I guess a little bit about me. Born and raised in Houston, at in U of H MBA program, but worked in finance. So really excited to bring that angle to it. And yeah, really just looking forward to having fun building with the boys.
Yeah, one of the I mean, obviously we all come in here with our own strengths. Um, Julian, one thing about him I learned from the program, we had a class in the program. So yeah, of course we're all U of H MBA graduates, and even though they tried so hard to fail me, but we met in a real estate class, and he was just a very logical, analytical, smart guy, and it just seemed like just a wealth of knowledge and someone who would be a plus to any team. So and also just have personally just have a lot of fun hanging out with them. So the whole idea of that coffee shop meetup we had is I was familiar with Julian. I've spent time with him, but Roger didn't. And Roger at the end of last season was talking about, hey, we could use a third person. I'd like to see that dynamic, how that goes. And so it just kind of made sense. But we lately I've been going by this mantra of like trust but verify. It's that whole due diligence part. So just because I say Julian's a cool guy doesn't necessarily mean anything to anyone, right? So we had to do the official meetup just to check the box, and you know, luckily everything went great. Um, and I'm not surprised or anything like that. But in this line of work, you don't want to waste time on anything or get something wrong that you can avoid. And checking boxes is just part of the process. So
I think
glad y'all hit it off.
I saw how cool Julian was as a person. I saw him like right away when we were playing Oregon Trail, and I think you had like a problem with your settler, and like
I
he was
was
like, "Hey,
round one. I was already like
round
dehydrated, or I
one,
had
you were
like
hurting.
water. I had some kind of poisoning.
You pulled a catastrophe card, and I was like, "Oh man, I kind of want these for me. Like, I could help you, but like, what if I need it?" And Julian was like, "Boom, like I got you." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like he's for the team, like he's a team player. He's gonna get the shirt off his back because I was holding my shit like, "Oh," So I appreciate that
Yeah,
about off the
and
jump.
and that was I was trying to figure out. Here's my untrusting nature. I was trying to figure out if there's any like incentive to him not saving me. And I was just like, why would you save me? Hold on, like hold your cards. Wait till you like we don't even know all the rules yet. But Julian was already ready,
He's like, "No,
ready
take
to
my
save the
medicine.
day.
Take this. You need
Yeah,
it more than I do." Uh,
yeah.
but we won that game
Great
too.
guy.
So
That's the game we won.
yeah.
And then, oh, well, we won. We lost Julian along the way. And then we said, let's run it back and try to, let's run it back and get all three of us to the finish line.
And
And
we
then,
got
of course, all
headshotted.
three of us died in a row headshot. We all
It
got one
was
shot.
like you don't even get a revive station. Like you can't even
No.
get no, you're dead. Get out of here. I was like, oh damn.
Do y'all remember how y'all died? Mine was a rattlesnake bite, instant death.
Mine was the malaria or something. It was just like instant. It was like a disease. I forgot the exact one, but I think there's a picture on social media of
Yeah,
it.
I had a broken arm, but I think because you guys died, I couldn't like
Yes.
move the cart forward without
Yeah,
it.
there was nobody to take care of
That's
you.
right. Yeah,
A broken
broken
arm
arm.
is
We
terminal
couldn't
back
do
in those
shit.
days.
And it was one of those death loopholes that because both of us died in our round, he couldn't do shit
He
anyways.
would have been fine in two turns, but since both of his teammates are dead,
That was just bad timing on our part. I picture poor Julian as a settler just sitting there with a broken arm, just like, damn, I'm gonna
just
die. This
waiting.
fucking sucks.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't do
Yo.
anything.
Oh man.
So hopefully that's a tradition we can continue. Fun game. Try. I mean, see if we can ever win again. I mean, we're 1 for 2 right now.
50%,
Yeah,
baby.
And
Let's
that's the
go.
one thing about this Oregon Trail like card set or like party game version of it is that it had calamity cards. That's what kills all three calamities in a row. But we didn't take a peek at any of the other calamities. I remember Roger had joked or Julian had joked about like one of the cards being like a meteor strike or something. Like you just don't know what you're gonna pull. It could be something just terrible. So I'm excited, and that calamity stack is huge. So I wonder what all the other calamities and you know complications could be for our next
It's
journey.
the biggest stack in the game. Like there's what, five different stacks, and that was
Yeah,
like double the other ones. Like, oh
you
shit.
get one oxen, but you get 50,000 calamities.
No, but a lot of good times, a lot of fun. I had a great time, so it was good. But
yeah.
we got to do it again. We got to do it again.
I was hoping maybe the mid-season special we do a live stream of it.
Oh, that'd be fun. They did have the podcasting section next to us, right? So we can
Yeah,
probably like reserve that and just kind of like do like a recording. It looked like they had already like setups for it,
yeah, lights and everything.
Yeah, exactly. So, cool place, man. I've been wanting to go there for a while, so I'm glad you mentioned it.
I'm glad
I
y'all liked
remember when
it.
it opened, it was like, oh, I gotta go there. It's a lot smaller than I thought, but still, it feels really good. It feels.
And I know me and Julian throw down on Apex every once in a while, and he's in the games too. And then you're a World of Warcraft guy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Big. I used to play a lot, yeah. But I don't play as much anymore. But man, I was like, I mean, I was putting in hours, dude. Like, and then I had like roommates and friends that were all in it. Like
Yeah.
my brother was in it, so we would just. I remember like Friday after work, we would just like order a bunch of pizzas. Like, and I'm talking like 5 boxes of pizzas, and we wouldn't go outside until like Sunday. Oh fuck! Like, oh, I gotta
This
go
had
to
to be
work tomorrow.
pre-30. This
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
pre-30
It
story.
was it was so fun though. Like we smelled like shit. There was like just mountain like literally Mountain Dew everywhere. Like it was like, fuck it, this is
When those
great.
are the Halo days.
Oh dude, oh yeah, Halo LAN parties
The
were
game.
good times. But anyways,
Julian,
anyways.
any game stories, Julian?
Uh, I've been running again maybe last like 2 weeks or so. I've been just on that grind. So many
All right.
hours, so I had to run it back.
Well, I didn't catch that one.
Well, yeah, moving on. Yeah, like I said earlier, Julian's on the road. He's been gracious enough to join us while he's on his second trip to the Oregon Trail, it looks like. And and moving. So yeah, he's going to be spotty at some points. That's one of them. But we're a team. We're here for each other. We're making everything work.
Let's go.
This season, let's talk about it. Let's talk about codename LFG. Roger, you came up with LFG. I loved it from the get-go. What does LFG stand for?
So LFG was I was like looking for group, that's kind of I don't know if it's a World of Warcraft thing, but that was like part of it, if like you don't have a group and you want to meet up with people, you just kind of put in the chat like looking for group or you put your status. Like if I'm playing the game by myself, I'll put my status as like looking for group. So I'm in like the queue. So if someone needs someone that has my skill set, like it'll alert me, So that's kind of like the and I think that's kind of like the setting that we want to go for like our app, like we're like, hey, yeah, maybe I don't have a group of people that I meet up for health and wellness and fitness, But this group, this app, this community can be my community, so I can kind of jump in and jump out like as my kind of, I guess, day, week, month schedule kind of fits, right? So that was kind of like the name for it. Yeah, I think we're still kind of like in the name phase. I think we got a good one yesterday, man. I think that you came up with a great name. I got a mock-up for it if you want to see it, but
Uh-oh.
we can do that later.
Yeah. So, uh, before we do the digging on the branding, let's step back a little bit. What's this season's idea? What are we even doing? So we discussed for season two, kind of sticking to the current hype, the current events. Run clubs are kind of the craze right now, and us as big picture folks and just kind of seeing opportunity, we're like, how cool would it be to be able to duplicate this run club craze for different verticals?
Yep.
Maybe chess club, maybe book club, maybe, like to see that kind of community, like in those kinds of numbers where people can participate. Either they can either start a group or they can just join a group. Um, that was kind of the nuts and bolts of it. And then we said, okay, let's use this app, and our proof of concept will be through a run club because we
Mhm.
think it'll have it's the lowest barrier to entry. You just gotta get a pair of running shoes, and then you're in. I think it's something where the buy-in is already there from folks because they care about inherently they care about like their health, so they'd be more inclined to run. It's not you don't really have to beg anyone to come out to it. Plus, it's kind of a hot thing right now, so people are gonna want to be more engaged and be in it already. Um, the the cons, obviously, going into is the competition. There's so many in the space already, just in Houston alone, and then nationally, there's even other bigger ones. I remember one of the ones I brought up last year to you was this fun one I saw out of New York where they wear black Air Forces, and that's all they run in. I mean, a brutal running shoe,
Oh
but
God, the
Nike
worst.
Nike eventually sponsored them and then gave them all like custom black Air Forces, which was really cool. So
That's
this
pretty
is the
cool.
kind of this is the kind of things you can do when you have just like in tech, when you have the users, when you have the numbers, all of a sudden you start getting red carpet treatment other places.
Yep, no, for sure. Man, I couldn't imagine. I used to play basketball in forces, dude, and like not high top forces where you can strap them or mid top. I was
RIP
playing in
ankles.
low top Air Forces. My ankles still pop. Like I could never be like a ninja or like in the Secret Service or nothing because you can hear me coming from like a mile away because my ankles is and that's because like playing basketball in low forces, bro. And then the arch. I'm pretty sure I used to have an arch on my foot, and then playing the forces slowly like evened it out. So that's I couldn't imagine running in those. That's insane. And they weigh like 5 pounds a piece. Like each shoe is 5 pounds. So
It's a heavy shoe.
yeah, that
And
hats off
and
to
then
them.
inherently you just have this when you're running in forces or just wearing forces, you're trying not to crease it. So I can only imagine like the cognitive dissonance of like trying to run in a force.
Well, they're one and done, right? Like you can only wear a
Yeah.
force without having to crease. I saw, and I haven't tried it, but I saw like this thing where you can like get a steamer, and then like steam out the creases of any shoe. I haven't tried that though, but that's what I would if I was them, I would try that. But yeah, I wonder if they're like running on their like heels, like their toes aren't even touching the ground. They're just kind of like on their heels running to not crease their shoes and shit. Yeah.
All calves.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those calves are gonna be fucking huge, bro.
So I mean, so our big picture goal was it's the everything app for all sorts of groups of any interest, but we were gonna test and prove it through running, and then kind of our first season of rollout would be within the wellness, like physical activity space. Before we go Lego night, Lego club, it'll be running, cycling, bike, swimming, kind of those verticals, the wellness space. So real quick, I kind of want to just get everyone's where are we coming from when it comes to like fitness? What's your background? What's your experience level? What is your pros and cons? Tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I can go first. And, for me, I would say like out of 1 to 10, one being the lowest, 10 being the highest, probably a solid like 7. Honestly, like I've always done some version of working out. You know, I was in the Marine Corps for 5 years. So that was just something that they instilled in you. You know, at least 3 times a week, you're up at 4 in the morning, 4:30 in the morning, you're working out. And that's just like the mandated stuff. And then you do stuff on your own, hiking and stuff. I think that the older I get, the more I try to fit my life into it. So like for right now, like I probably do weight training 4 times a week. And one day outside of that, I do cardio. And while I'm weight training those days, I also do some form of cardio. But for cardio for me is like I get on the treadmill for 30 minutes total before and after my workout. I'll like read a book and put the treadmill on like two or three, you know, something brisk and just kind of like read and walk. So I find that a good way to kind of get in a meditative state, get a good a warm up, cool down. I love doing yoga. Like that, we did that a little bit of that yesterday. You can see how much I love it. Like I really believe in it. I really believe in yoga
Yeah, you're
personally.
very knowledgeable about it.
And it's because I like to study it, honestly. Like I definitely want to get like a yogi certification. I don't know how I could fit that into the life, but I find that for me, I've been doing yoga for like pretty consistently. Consistently for me means 2 or 3 times a week, you know, whereas like I'm actively doing it. And it's changed my life, like honestly. And it's like weird to say, but like I used to have a lot of lower back pain, sciatica pain and stuff. Those were injuries that I sustained myself, like an idiot working out the wrong way. I've hurt myself really bad working out the wrong way. So now I'm very much into working out the right way. And, you know, I'm not as strong, I don't lift as heavy, but I'm not worried about like the right now strength. I'm worrying about like the forever strength, if that makes sense, you know? And yoga has definitely helped me with kind of like that mind muscle connection in terms of like understanding like what you're doing, why you're doing it, how you're doing it, and those things translate to, you know, things like, you know, working out, where you kind of like you can like make one little shift to your posture and it can make a world of difference for a certain body part, you know? So I think I'm at a 7, you know? If I miss a workout, like I haven't like worked done weight training since Sunday, I'll go tomorrow and do a leg day. But so like I used to be like very like, oh my God, I can't miss a day. Now I'm more like I give myself more grace, you know? So I think I'm a good 7 in terms of experience. And it's something that I see the difference. Like I see people that like feel like they have to work out and they don't love it. I love it. So for me, it's that. I also work in the health and wellness space. And for me, those things are connected. And that's why this app specifically speaks to me and why I'm excited about it. Because for me, health and wellness are connected. You know, the better my health is, the better my wellness is, the better my mental is. All those things are like a trifecta and connected for me. So I would love to help someone else achieve that. You know, someone who doesn't see it the way I see it, but helping them to like not just maybe not love it, but at least not hate it, you know? Because I do think that, you know, every habit, either good or bad, takes time to develop or get out. And for me, I would love to, that's what I love to do is help people. So I would love to kind of like help somebody else on their health and fitness journey, because I think that, you know, health, wellness, fitness, you know, nutrition even, you know, that's the hardest part, you know? Like all this shit is like not easy. The easy part is going to work out. The hard part is going home and making those correct nutritional decisions. We'll get there when we get there, but that's kind of like the journey I see us taking. And I think with this kind of app specifically, we can really get there.
Yeah,
As I'm drinking
I,
a scotch,
that's a special event.
scotch and water.
It's the beginning
So
of season two, special event. You're getting hydrated. It's practically a
it's
smoothie.
from Scotland. I did an offsite last week. We my company met in Chicago. I work for a health and wellness company. Everyone was like running and everyone was working out and everyone was doing it was so cool. But anyways, this guy like he lives in Edinburgh. He was like, "Hey, I'm bringing you some scotch," and he did. I brought him some bourbon from Texas. So you know it was even, but still
There you
like
go.
this is like legit scotch. And I was like, "All right, bro, this is good as fuck too." Anyway.
Yeah, he probably got his from like Mordor or something, and you got yours from like A1 Liquor down the
Oh
street.
yeah, it was like I'm definitely coming up on this side of it. Like I'm on, you know, but still.
No, but you touched on some good points, and I could see your passion for yoga when we started doing the stretch out session. That was, you were knowledgeable, you knew what you're doing. There was a flow to it. I know a little bit about yoga. I've done little. I would hop around to those free Black Swan events that they would usually host, like
The
on rooftops or
pop-ups,
at the park. Yeah, the little
yeah,
pop-ups.
it was
Those
cool.
were always a good way to spend a Saturday morning. I've been to hot yoga on some like free trial
How'd you
type
like
stuff.
it?
It was cool. When they do those free trials, sometimes you gotta be up there really really early. But I mean, just the
Yeah.
combination was a really good way to start the day. Once you're out, it's like, oh yeah, this is
You feel those endorphins kick
pretty
in, right?
bird.
You have a
Yeah.
whole different feeling. You get they call it the runner's high. It's those endorphins, whether you're doing rowing, stretching, but running, like those things are real. Like you feel that,
hmm
you know?
And at that point in my life, like I really didn't have any kind of foundation of stretching. So I mean that my body just loved it.
Yeah.
I remember a very while back when I was a teacher, say year two, after year two I quit moved out to the woods, was doing all sorts of creative stuff out there outside of Huntsville, and I was running. There was a lot of hills and a lot of like wilderness to go running, which was fun.
Sure.
But I kind of got into yoga there too. I saw like this YouTube series with yoga with Adrian, who's this big
Mm.
yoga
Like
influencer.
cooking with Kyla.
Yeah, kind of thing. And she had like a 30-day challenge, and I would try to follow her 30-day challenge
Mm.
and then run it back. I would always fall off around like day 14, 15. And then when COVID kicked in, I went back to it. It's kind of the safe place, because I was stuck at the house in New York. And I would start over on day one and then follow through. But around that time was when I noticed the third time around after I got my MBA and I started looking at that series again, I realized how many people started the series on episode one, like the first day of the 30-day challenge, like millions of views. And then around the halfway point, big taper off,
Yeah.
big drop. So I think, like you said, and like we talked about last night too, at the beer session, run
Yeah.
session, we talked about there's so many things that are addicting in life and so many bad habits that we
Yep.
have.
Yep.
And it was like, all right, how can we use, and this is kind of jumping ahead here, but like the whole idea of gamification. We talked about Duolingo has a great example of gamification on an app, and nudges and all that. And how can we use those? I mean, a case can be made that they're evil, like dopamine driven type of, addictive type of behavior patterns that they're exploiting when they make these apps. But how can we use that in a way to get people to be healthy
Yep.
or to get them engaged in good behaviors or good habits? It's like, yeah, this is maybe an evil thing, or an evil strategy, but it's effective for getting people to do the right thing. Um, Terrible wording of all that, but you get the idea. We talked about that. So I'm excited to explore that concept. Going back to the original question of, where I'm at, I used to be I used to get real grumpy if I missed a workout.
Yeah.
My thing was like I needed to work out at least, 3 times a week. And on the weekends, there's 2 free days. There's no way I can't, not work out. Like I got
Yep.
to get my workout in. And lately with my work schedule and everything, and just kind of getting older, I've realized that it's let me take it back. I'm cool with my weekends only, and then it went back to what my weekends are limited. I don't want to spend 2 hours at the gym every single day. I'll cut it down to 1 hour. Try to just get it down more essential stuff. But I have been noticing, and the reason why this season's project kind of aligns with me, I've been noticing my cardiovascular. I'll get winded so quick on some dumb
Mm.
shit. Very easy, chase the cat around, like start, start breathing heavy type stuff. That's been going on for a while, so I'm excited to just get a little bit of conditioning going. So
You did
on that,
amazing yesterday, man. Like, we did. I mean, you were there with me. I was going at like a good. I think we were going at a good pace.
yeah,
I think that I was. You saying that, I'm surprised that you did as well as you did. With that being said, like, because I think your pace was great. I think that you were not like hands on knees at the end, and we did like a
yeah,
little brisk on the way back. Like, we cut our time in half going back. Like,
right,
we did a small thing. We ran up the hill. We ran down the hill, and then we did a faster pace back. And you were still like there. I was like, shit. I'm also getting over like like a little thing.
yeah, yeah,
Like, I was feeling it myself for sure.
yeah. Yeah, no, you're definitely handicapped. That's why I was keeping
No,
up,
no, I'm not
but
saying that, but like I was feeling it too. But like, I also had a little bit of
yeah,
I got that. I still have like cough drops, and I'm popping this shit like
and
Mentos.
and yeah, no, but the other part of it too is the social aspect.
Mm,
I don't want to be all the way. I don't want to be dragging the group back. I don't want to be the punk in the group. So I'm gonna kick into another gear I don't have when I'm by myself. I'm by
yeah,
myself. I'm trying along. I'm like, oh, running's so
and that's
boring.
the good part
But with the
about
group,
working
I'm like, all
out.
right, let me not
Yeah.
be last. Let me try to be first.
And that's the great thing about doing it solo and as a group. Like, when I'm like not with like the group, sometimes if I do group runs, sometimes that sucks for me because like you got those really fast people, you got the slow people, you got the middle people, but it's about kind of finding your common ground, and your kind of level of comfort. And I think that that's part of it though. But honestly, like when I'm not like with the group, sometimes I'm training harder outside of it. Like, oh man, they fucking dusted me last time. I got to get my cardio up a little bit. Or
Got
in the
dusted.
gym, yeah, if I learn something new or like you teach me a workout, I'll like practice it outside of that workout and come back the next week and say, okay, like I did a little bit more. I kind of know what I'm doing, with the workouts. Oh shit.
Oh, we already there. We're
Are
down
we
to the last
already
ten
running out? Oh, we
minutes.
got 10 minutes. Okay, we got 10
All
minutes.
right. Hey, Julian, and you, what's your background? What's your
Yeah,
relationship
man.
with
Give it to us.
fitness? Give us the
Yeah,
background there.
yeah, for sure. I mean, kind of echoing some of your sentiments, like recently it's been kind of crazy with work, crazy with life, to where it hasn't been as much of a focus as it really should be. For me, if I can hit the gym 3 or 4 times a week, I think that's like great. So, Roger, when you were saying you're a 7 and you're hitting the gym 4 times a week plus a day of cardio, like to me, that's a 10, man. Like that's awesome.
Oh, thank. I think you're a 10 too, baby. Yeah,
I'm hoping
10.
so. I'm hoping so. But right now, honestly, I feel like I'm at it too, just with how things have been going the last couple of weeks. Like I
Yeah.
haven't been making it as much of a priority as I should. I really wanna-
And I know inherently, man, inherently
Mhm.
is my training word in this today's episode, but Julian has the advantage. We talked about how the diet is the hard part, right? Working out's the easy part. Everyone shows up to the gym, but nobody eats right. The made up stat is what, like 80% of it is the diet.
Bro,
So
yeah, it's
Julian
not
leans
true.
towards the veterinarian, the vegetarian vegan side. So I think he's gonna have an advantage there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He has all those postbiotics. I don't know how to like
Yeah.
he has
Julian,
all
is it
the good nutrition in him.
Julian, do you see results faster, or is there any advantage that you see with your diet being what it is, or within your diet, do you still find ways to like have a bunch of junk and and go that route with it?
Honestly, it's the that yeah. Even though I'm a vegetarian, like I still eat like crap. I still eat a bunch of carbs and sugars and fats.
Mm,
Like I'm not sitting here eating salads all day like I should be. So yeah, I definitely have a lot of like the nutritional aspect that I need to focus on too, for sure. Because I think, a lot of it is really what you eat, what you put in yourself, and then
yeah.
the other part is the working out. Um, and I've just been slacking on both, honestly.
Hey man, life
Well,
lives, dude. Life lives. But the good thing
yeah.
about like health and wellness, nutrition, fitness, like it's a destination and a journey. Like you get there when you get there. It's not about like beating ourselves up. Tonight I'm probably gonna eat bad as fuck. You know what? But you
Yeah, I
know
know I got a
what?
pizza planned.
One of my favorite authors, name's Chrissy Golden. I met her at this. She's a WoW author. She writes World of Warcraft books and does stuff. I met her
Mm.
at this convention. That's how nerdy I am, dude. I go to fucking gaming conventions. I met her at this gaming convention, and I was
BlizzCon,
like, man,
right?
I just ate a
What
whole
was it?
pizza last night. And she was like, hey, it doesn't matter because I was part of like this WoW workout group. It was very specific. It was like people that played World of Warcraft and worked out. Anyways, she was part of the group, and she was like, hey, man, like it doesn't matter if you eat all that bad food, drink a lot of water and and reset, and that's what it's about, honestly. Like we can't beat ourselves up about the workouts we missed or the food we ate or didn't eat. It's a journey. We're doing this for a lifetime, and hey, we'll get there when we get there. And I think that's like Julian and Ed, part of this group for me is like being not socially accountable, but having that social community aspect. We can all lift each other up. We're like, hey man, I felt bad today. I fucking ate a whole pizza. Hey, I can eat a whole pizza without blinking, dude, like in one sitting. But hey, I post it to the group, and then maybe I get some like, hey, you fat fucks. But then also somebody's like, hey, you fat fuck, do better tomorrow, and I'll be like, all right, I got you. Like bet. So
Yeah, all of this is a marathon. It's a process. It's a
for sure,
journey. And I like the idea. I don't know when I heard it, but my life has changed ever since. About any habit, really. But it's just like one missing one workout isn't gonna make you, Arnold Schwarzenegger,
yeah,
and or hitting all your workouts isn't. Missing one isn't gonna ruin you. The same way one bad meal is not gonna ruin you. You're not gonna lose all your progress over one bad meal.
for sure.
But it's the habit. It's the habit of it.
It's the
I
mindset and
know
the habit for sure.
my relationship with food growing up, or seeing my parents, food was like a treat. Like there's your subsistence food Monday through Friday, come home from work, and then
Yeah,
there's like your weekends, like like I tell them celebrate Sunday food, something special. Like so, I still to this day associate paychecks with like a paycheck meal, you know,
we're
um,
going to
and,
McDonald's
and
tonight.
yeah, no, first season one or season two episode one, like yeah, I'm gonna eat a pizza today,
Fuck yeah! All
I'm
right, if you
going
eat a pizza, I eat a pizza, man. Don't tempt me with a
whole
good
pizza,
time,
yeah.
Don't make me call right now. I'll do it.
bro. Are we eating pizza tonight? Because I'm down. I'm down as fuck.
Well, I mean, look, now that the piping down there is all 30-year-old, 6 years old, I
Oof.
got to do thin crust. I can't do a full bread pizza will just fuck me up.
I love how you know that though. Like it's about those little life hacks, those little efficiencies you get. Like, hey man, it takes longer to get a donut off of me. So hey, I'm gonna still get that little cheat meal I want, but I'm gonna do it in a more conscious way, a thin crust, And that's a good idea. If you do the macros for a thin crust Domino's pizza, it's not great, but also not as bad as it could be. So about the little life efficiencies. Put some protein
Right.
on there, put some chicken on that motherfucker. Dude,
Oh
boom.
yeah.
You're getting the
Yeah, my
protein
favorite.
in.
I love going to Mod Pizza, where you can just abuse them and do your all your grocery shopping on one. They just keep loading it up, and I'll just put on a thin crust, and I'll get like a kid size one for the portion control,
Yeah.
and just I bet if you did the macros on that, tons of protein
Smart man.
and like zero carbs or not zero, but not a lot. So next on the docket, we were talking about the app. It's the start a run club.
Yep.
It's the in the eventually start any club.
I will
And
say fitness club. Like I want to get out of the run app, but we could discuss that later too. But
okay,
like I see it as a fitness app versus a run because when I hear run app, like only people that run can use it. I think that we should maybe try to break out of that and say, hey, anybody for whatever is your jam, maybe I love yoga, and I want to compete, from a caloric expenditure perspective from you and you run and Julian lifts weights. I think a way for all of us to normalize the effort we put in to whatever jam we do to be able to compete with each other. So like I think like more of a fitness
like
tracking.
standardizing
Yeah,
effort.
exactly.
You
Exactly.
wanted to standardize effort to be able to for folks to be able to engage. Like remember we talked about this yesterday. Like oh Roger went on a solo run and his effort based on everything he did was like a 9. It was a 9 out of 10 workout. And I just went for a swim and mine was a 4 out of 10. Like damn,
Yeah.
I'm slacking. If we
And then maybe
standardize
Julian
it,
did a badass bike.
yeah,
He did a badass bike workout and he's like at a 10 out of 10. And even though he worked out for less hours, he burned more calories than we did.
right.
And a way to track that. Yeah, exactly. And again, like, hey, that I think that's a great perspective of having three, because then we can like spitball these ideas and come to like, in my company we call it DDC, debate, decide, commit, like, hey, we throw our ideas out there. The two outweighs the three, and then we can kind of go and push it from there, But I want to, my position is like, hey, we break outside the run perspective and be a fitness app so we can kind of normalize all those disparate ways to work out into one common thing that you can then invite more people to that are open and it's open to more people than just running.
Right.
Because I get it. Some people don't want to run, but some people don't need to run. They do walking, they do treadmill, they do yoga, they do spin and
For
bike
my
and
for my
stuff.
cardio, I'd rather play basketball. I'd rather
Perfect. Basketball.
intensity
Hey,
10 minutes,
I played 30
Yeah.
minutes of basketball. Realistically, I did this much, blah, blah, blah. The app puts it all, breaks down your caloric output and says, okay, this was your caloric score of, let's say 500, So you're kind of at the middle of the leaderboard for the group that you're in. So I think there's a fun little dynamic of that for sure.
Julian.
I agree. No, I agree 100%. Yeah, I think, well, personally, I'm not a runner, so I think breaking out of the running category for me personally would be good. But, to Roger, to your point, I think normalizing just fitness overall, I think is a great idea because then it brings in more people, more community. An app like this, I feel like if you are trying to bring the people together, a initial issue is like the users. So I think opening it up to a broader user base would be great for the overall like community, for the app, for all of it, really.
And on that, I know we only have 1 minute
Got a
left. And
minute
one
left.
of the things, share my screen real quick because I had this already teed up. One thing that excited about it, but you can see my screen. And this is
Yeah.
just kind of like CDC data, but basically, if you look at this, you have three tiers here. You have people that, in the grand scheme of things, in the United States, meet muscle and strength. Meet muscle and strength like thresholds. You have some that meet aerobic, you have somebody that meet like aerobic and strength, right? So you have those three tiers. When you put them all together, 54% of Americans, and I think this is our target audience here, 54% of Americans, based on the CDC data, work out at their lowest threshold. So they do strength, they do cardio, or they do both. So I think this is a good area. Like we're already talking to 54% of Americans. How many is that, right? If you look at the people in America that are over 18, that's 258 million people over the age of 18 as of 2020. Great. If we get 54% of that, that's what let's see. That's 140 million people in the United States alone that could use this app specifically. But if we want to break it down to just Harris County, all right, there's 4.8 million people in Harris County that are over 18. That brings our like addressable market to 2.6 million people alone in Harris County. Okay, great. I want to look at Houston specifically, right? Because I think we want to think global, act local. So we want to localize down to Houston, Texas, right? That's still 756,000 people if all those numbers hold true in Houston alone that use our app. And I'm just going to end it with this.